if you are wanting to drive more appointments, more revenue for your highest generating treatments, then you are in the right place today, because I'm going to be sharing with you my top 3 strategies that will ensure you in driving more appointments and converting more revenue for your hottest treatments. Okay, so you want to sell more Opus, more Morpheus 8, more cool sculpting. You want more people on your medical weight loss program. You want people doing your 8-point lift, not just one syringe. All right. And so what I'm going to be talking today is about what you need to be doing to drive more patients for those hot treatments that are really serving 2 purposes. One, those are the treatments that give your clients the best results, that you're known for, that you're passionate about. They're also the ones that are generating you the most revenue. So whenever it is a win-win, a win for your patient and a win for your business, then guys, we got to get focused. We got to pour our energy into those type of activities, right? And so today I'm going to be sharing with you those top 3 secrets. So let's dive into those. So the very first thing that you need, before I even go into the 3 tips that I'm going to be sharing with you, is that you need to build momentum. Now, when you have momentum on a specific treatment or service, that is going to open up the world for you. So the question is, how do I build momentum in my business, with my team, with my patients? And when you can answer that question, when you do the activity to build momentum, then watch out, because the floodgates will open for those hot treatments that you want to drive patients to. So let's go over, what is it then? Tell me, Caitlin, what is it that I have to do to drive momentum for those hot treatments, those high ticket treatments that are going to generate your med spa a lot of revenue, that are going to generate such amazing results for your patients? So the very first thing is that you in your team have to have a strong belief. Now, I don't want to get all woo-woo on you, but you guys, this really is the first and most important thing for you to build momentum, for you to really have a high-ticket treatment plan or device that you want to take off. You have to have belief in this specific treatment or device, because if you and your team don't have crazy belief in it, it's not going to do anything for you. Why is it that there are some practices out there with the exact same devices? Okay, the exact same devices. In one practice could be recommending and closing it like gangbusters, right? And the next practice, it literally is like stacking towels on it. And what I can tell you is that one of the biggest missing components is the provider and the team has no belief in it. They've probably not even tried it, right? They're not trained in it. They don't believe that it can get results for their patients, for themselves, for their mom, for their best friend, whatever it may be. Because if you don't have a belief, a passion, that you know in your heart and your gut to be true, that this is the treatment that your patient needs, that's going to solve their problems, right? That they're going to be thrilled with, then what happens is we are hesitant. We lack confidence in our recommendation for the treatment plan, right? And if you lack confidence, then you probably don't even recommend it. Or if you do recommend it, you recommend it half-assed, half-heartedly, right? Oh, if you want to, maybe you should, like think about it. Let me know, right? And when you don't have a strong belief in a device or a treatment plan, it's not going anywhere for you. So how do you get that belief, right? How do you get that belief for yourself and then for your team as well? And I really first think it starts with trying the treatment yourself, first and foremost. And oftentimes I see one, they didn't, I spoke to an amazing provider this morning with the Morpheus 8. And she's like, well, I'm not selling any of it. And I asked her, well, how many patients do you see a week? And she said 60. She's got 60. She sees 60 on her schedule. And then we got into some things, right? And the very first thing that we uncovered is that she hasn't even tried the treatment herself, right? Her training on that device has been, the bare minimum that you get when it comes with your, when you purchase your device, which is they pretty much come, they tell you how to flip it on, show you a couple settings, and they're on their way. Their job is not to teach you how to be, how to recommend it to your patients and to have a strong belief in the device. Their job was to sell it to you. And they do that very well, don't they? Right. But then oftentimes this is what happens. So you have to take it upon yourself to dive in and learn about this device, use it on yourself, do the full treatment protocol, right? If it's a series of 3, complete all 3. Don't just do it once, because you can't have a strong belief. You can't have a strong conviction if you don't treat to complete, right? And so the very first thing is that you need to have a strong belief in the device that it is that you want it to be your hottest seller. And you should do everything possible with your team to have that same strong belief, right? And it starts with trying the treatment, guys. And then it continues with educating, right? It's not just about flipping on the switch and doing the bare minimum, okay? We have to come back to it again and again. We have to have advanced trainings. We have to go to seminars. We have to bring people in. We have to bring our reps in regularly, right? We have to communicate in our aesthetic community about what's working and what challenges we're having. That's how you get a strong belief in the hottest treatments and devices that you want to be known for, that you want to drive appointments and revenue for. Okay, the next thing is, once you have that belief, right, now you got to turn that into stories, because we don't want to just be like, oh yeah, this is the device energy on how this treatment works, and this is how many you're going to need, and this is how it feels, right? Too oftentimes we nerd out about the science and the technology of the device that you're trying to recommend. And to the patient, like you're just speaking over their head. They don't care about that. Yes, they care that you know what you're doing, but they care if you're going to solve their problem. So how is it that you can educate a patient on solving their problems? It's not telling them about the science of the device. It's weaving in stories about how you can solve and have solved the same pain point that they are experiencing for from other patients, right? They have to trust and believe that your business, that device is going to solve their problems. And the best way to do that is through stories. So when you have, let's say you have a big team, right? And you have 1 or 2 team members that do a really good job of selling that device that you are trying to drive appointments and revenue for. Then I would bring those team members in and have them train and share with your other team members and allow their stories to be used with your other team members until they have their own stories for themselves. Because those stories are going to make, when you share your beliefs and then you share your stories, that is that emotional connection and trust that patients are going to then view you as, not only is this the device, but this is also the provider that is going to solve my problems. So too oftentimes I get med spa owners and practice managers that are like, help me market it, help me market it. What is the offer that we're going to do at what price point? And guys, yes, that is a piece of the puzzle for sure. But without having your beliefs and your stories behind a great offer, you're going to just be attracting shoppers. You're just going to be focusing the conversation on, well, how much does it cost? I can get my filler for less down the street. Or can you price match that filler, right? I can get the Morpheus 8 down the street for less. Or I can get a knockoff, right? A non, whatever it doesn't matter. Insert it. If you don't tell people what they should be focusing on, if you don't tell people why they should be choosing you, if you don't inspire them that you are the person that can solve their problems finally after all the years that they've tried and treatments that they've tried, all they're going to be focusing is on price. And I can't tell you how many times a day I get people be like, oh, Groupon, price shopper. Oh, I hate working with those patients. And I can tell you, the brands, the aesthetic brands that talk about their beliefs and their stories and what they are the best at delivering results to their patients, their conversations about price is far less, right? Sometimes they don't even have to talk about price at all to get a commitment to a treatment plan, because their belief and conviction that they can help their patient is so strong that it's taken and removed off the table. Because when we want something and we believe that you are the person that you can help us and solve our problems, it's removed. We find a way to make it happen financially, okay? But if you don't have strong beliefs and stories, then it's always going to be about price, right? And so if you want to sell more of the hottest device, the hottest treatments, the highest ticket plans, you have to know what it is that your beliefs and stories are around that device. And then once you have that, number 3, the third thing that you need to utilize is tactics to be able to get those beliefs and stories out like you have a freaking megaphone. So that's when you're going to get on video and you're going to post it on organic social media. It's going to be on your website. It's going to be in your email newsletter, right? Everyone at the front desk, like when they, in the treatment plans, your coordinators, like everyone's going to be like, what? You've been with us for how many years and you haven't yet done this device or this treatment? Everyone does it. All of us do it, right? I think about when as soon as I go to a restaurant and I look at the menu, the very first thing that I'm looking for is some kind of like icon or symbol that tells me what it is that restaurant is the best at. What are they known for? What does everyone love? What does everyone have to get, right? Does anyone else do that when they go to a restaurant and trying to figure out what it is that they want to order? I'm looking for that icon, right? Award winning, whatever that is. I want to make sure that I have that. And so use that, right? Like on your menu, on your website, put it, tell people what it is that you want them to do, what it is that you get great results for. What are you known for? Tell them, and they will ask you about it before you even recommend it to them. I promise you, right? Tell them on organic social media, right? Make sure that your team, their convictions are so strong. So when they're checking out and they haven't done that treatment yet, have you talked to your provider about that? And then they could share their own experience about it, right? Same with a product, right? Your go-to, maybe you have a go-to body device, you have a go-to injectable, you have a go-to face device, right? But if you're not putting a spotlight on what it is that you want your patients to be doing, then you're just throwing mud against the wall and you're trying to tell everyone about all the I talked to a client today, they said, oh, I have 50 different services that I offer. How in the world when you ask me to narrow it down to 2 that I want to focus on, how can I do that? I have 50. Well, I was like, well, how is that working out for you? Trying to market all 50 of those services, right? You can't do it well. So once you know what that high ticket, device or treatment that you want to do, and then you got to establish those beliefs and stories around it. And then you can start implementing tactics to basically speak not just one-on-one, but one to many. And that's the power of SMS text marketing. That's the power of email newsletter. That's the power of video on organic social media, right? Years ago, people used to like die to be invited to a luncheon or to go speak to a group, right? Or even to go speak at a conference. And there's power in all of those things. But why not look at the power of organic social media, right? And how a video, a live video, or a pre-recorded video on organic social media can speak to hundreds, if not thousands of people. And people pay really good money for those opportunities, but yet they don't take that opportunity for themselves to do it on organic social media. So there are a lot of free to low cost tactics that you could be doing to tell people exactly what treatment or device that you want them to get. And so I'm not here today to tell you that, oh, you just got to spend all this marketing money to sell more of your high ticket treatment plans or your devices, right? You got to build your foundation first and know, right, your beliefs, and then you're going to be able to form your stories and interweave how the results that you've gotten your patients from that device, right, is going to help them get that same outcome that they're looking for. And then once you have those stories, then you're able to utilize marketing tactics to just amplify it with a megaphone. Okay. So, you know, some really easy tricks, right? It's figure out what it is, what device that you want to really drive and be known for. And then let's like put some like a little banners, awards, stars, something, tell people, right? On your website, in your email newsletter, in your SMS text marketing, in your welcome series. Pin it on your organic social media pages, right? These are all free tactics for you to do. And I promise you, if you follow this training and you have first a strong core belief in what it is that you are recommending, not just you, but your entire team, including your front desk, anyone that is patient facing, has a strong belief in that treatment or device. That's the first step, number one. And then the second is to have so many stories, to speak so passionately about that device that they don't even need to know the science. They don't even need to know how much it costs. They just want to know when they can get started. And until the individual provider has so much at bats and experience to have their own stories, then you gotta pull stories from your more experienced providers. Or even if you don't have anyone yet in your team, you gotta pull those stories from other providers across the country or from your reps. You gotta get them from somewhere, right? And then once you have that strong belief and story, then you can start implementing marketing tactics. And then that's like pouring gasoline on the fire. And watch out, before you know it, you are going to be driving appointments in revenue for those high ticket treatment devices. So, all right, guys, I'm going to open the floor for questions. Looks like we have some here. Hey, Cindy, thanks for joining us live. Hey, Bree. Okay, how do I get my team to believe in our products and treatments as much as I do? Okay, so I covered this a little bit in the sense of the very first thing is you got to allow your team to have the treatment. And I mean, you can't force people, right? But I mean, if you are turning away a treatment, I mean, are you really working in the right place in the right industry? And, you know, maybe they don't, maybe you got like a perfectly pretty little 20-year-old, right? And she's not needing or ready to do the complete series of something, right? But she can test it, right? She can do one, maybe she doesn't need all three, or maybe like you bring her mom in, right? But for the most part, we all have team members that need and want these treatments and they need to use it. I don't think getting treatments is a luxury, right? And I know some clients are like, oh, they still have to pay for it and this and that. And I understand consumables, right? So we got to keep it in check. But if you want to close more of these services and treatments, right, then you need to have a strong belief in it. And without trying it yourself or seeing firsthand the great results that it can give, they're not going to have a strong belief in it. So they're going to recommend it like sparingly, okay? So ask your reps to give you free product and to give you free consumables. I know a lot of practices, once a month, they block out time to do treatments on one another, right? So you have to incorporate that into your training and your culture. Even so, I'm a consultant and a marketer, but I have almost everyone on my team we set up times for them to go in and get their treatments, because I want them to be able to speak firsthand about, even though they're not actually doing the treatments in the med spas, like I want them to know the psychology behind the patient themselves, right? And what it's like to experience those treatments. So they don't have to take time off work to go get their treatments, right? And we try to match them up in their local markets to be able to get those treatments at no cost to them, right? I absorb that with the client, because it's important that they have a strong belief and understanding behind it. So you got to train, you got to allow them to experience the treatment themselves and the products themselves. I mean, especially products, guys. I mean, come on, right? Like if you want your team to sell product, but then they're still using drugstore product, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? So you want them, if you want them to have a strong belief, they got to see the treatment work for themselves, right? And once you see it work for yourselves, the belief part is really easy. Okay, next question. Morpheus is new to us and we want to be known for it, but we don't have any stories yet. Should we make some up? Okay, so this is where you need to lean on your aesthetic community. And this is where it's really good and nice to have, before you purchase your device, that your rep set you up with other aesthetic businesses that had the Morpheus device, that they could share firsthand, right, the impact that it's made in their business in with their clients. So this is where I would say is you got to reach out to your aesthetic community. And if you don't know or have someone yet, then reach out to your rep and say, listen, I need to speak to, whoever, give me 2 people that are the best at recommending Morpheus 8 and who has gotten the best results for her patients. And I want to hop on a call. And you need to hear the belief and conviction that they have, right? And how they were able to get there. It doesn't happen overnight, but you have to, it's kind of like that when you have a coach, and sometimes the coach believes that you can do something before you can believe it, right? So this is where you got to lean on your aesthetic community. And if your belief isn't there yet because you just haven't experienced it, then you got to lean on other people's beliefs until you get there, until you arrive, right? And you don't lie about it. You're not going to, put your logo on their before and after picture or anything like that. But here's what I would say is like, hey, I always tell people, like, if your device, if you can't do the device beforehand, then you better go somewhere. I don't care if you have to get on a flight to try that actual treatment, go to the training center, whatever it is, before you made that investment. So my story would be like this. Hey, I did my research on insert device name. I spent, weeks doing research on what was going to be the best RF microneedling technology to bring to my community. And I tried X, Y, and Z. And before I went and invested over $100,000, I actually went and got the treatment myself, right? And I spoke to, doctor after injector after laser technician all across the country. And what I found was insert device was the clear-cut winner. It is known to, have helped thousands of people all across the country. Look at these amazing results. Okay, I could go on and on and on. But the point is that you're not lying and taking credit for work that you haven't done yet. But I sure hope that you did your research of why you even made that huge financial investment in a device and brought it to your clinic because you believe that this is what is your patient's need, that they want, that is going to be able to solve their problems, right? And you should be able to speak passionately about that. If you've made that big investment, I sure hope you did your homework, right, to be able to share with people how you came about making that decision and the research that you did, right? So that would be the first step. If you don't have stories yet, is to use others. And it's okay that you don't have to claim them to be your own. If you loved this training, make sure that you share it with your team or another medical aesthetic practice that could benefit from it. You can catch my replay on YouTube. I have over 200 free trainings and resources that could benefit you in your business, or you can visit my link tree and my social bio. And be sure to join us live every single Wednesday. Oh, we got a special one in store for you next week on memberships. I don't know if you know this or not, but we're kind of famous around here because we have a team member that helped a med spa before she even opened their doors, before, like literally before they opened, pre-sell over 244 memberships before they even opened the door. So next week, we're talking all things membership. So be sure to join us live next Wednesday, 2:30 Central Time, same place. Find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.